All right, guys, so we have a W for President Trump and a prime example of the president playing 5D chess with these Democrats while they are just playing checkers. Sometimes, guys, I gotta admit, President Trump is just on a whole nother playing field than all these other career politicians. For real. This recent W comes in the Supreme Court, and I know that may be a surprise to some of you guys, considering how a lot of us probably believe that the Supreme Court is compromised at this point, especially after this Texas case, and also after the allegation that John Roberts had basically told him not to take the Texas case in order to avoid riots. And again, this comes off of John Roberts also telling the Republicans during the Obamacare case that they should not be using the Supreme Court to do things that they should be doing in Congress. So, you know, John Roberts at this point, guys, is an iffy character. I'm not even sure if it is accurate to characterize him as a conservative justice anymore. He's probably a liberal. But anyways, it looks like President Trump may be getting a W on something that a lot of us are gonna find to be common sense. But before we get into that, my name is Greg Foreman and you're watching A Black Conservative Perspective. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share A Black Conservative Perspective, aka a leftist worst nightmare. You can also follow me on Twitter at GForemanBCP. Let's get it. All right, guys, before I go over the case, let's take a look at exactly what the background is. So as you can see here on my screen, so you have the memorandum on excluding illegal aliens from the apportionment base following the 2020 consensus. Now, President Trump issued this memorandum on July 31st, 2020. And essentially what he's saying is that he wants to produce 2 census reports, right? So every 10 years, as we know, there's a census in which they use that census data to allocate electoral. Yeah, I've been working on that. People in my comment section been saying I'll be saying it wrong, but I'm working on it. What President Trump is saying is, hey, let's produce the normal one that we do, which includes everybody in the population, everybody in the country, and then let's exclude illegal aliens from the second one. And we are going to try to use the second one in order to divvy up House seats and electoral votes in the future. Now, obviously, this is a big deal because we all know where most of the illegals lie in this country. The liberal states of California, New York, sanctuary cities that allow them just to live there and not kick them out because the Democrats want to eventually make them all legal so that they can vote Democrat. So again, like I said before, this is 5D chess from President Trump here, issuing this memorandum that has not really got a lot of attention, but potentially has big political consequences. So obviously the liberal states are going to challenge this memorandum as it is going to hurt them. So let's get into the actual case. So a couple days ago, the Supreme Court tossed out a suit over excluding immigrants from the 2020 census. The U.S. Supreme Court dismissed a lawsuit on Friday that sought to halt an order from President Donald Trump to exclude unsigned immigrants from the 2020 census figures, but left room for another challenge on the issue. In a 6-3 ruling, the court said that the suit brought by 23 states to block the administration's move was premature and that too many of the facts in the case are in flux. The suit sought to strike down a July memorandum from Trump that ordered the Commerce Department to effectively produce 2 census counts, one to include undocumented migrants and one to exclude them. The second figure would be used to apportion House seats and states' electoral votes. The majority said Friday that the deciding case now isn't feasible because it remains uncertain just how fully the Commerce Department, the parent agency of the Census Bureau, will implement the presidential memorandum. Quote, at present, this case is riddled with contingencies and speculation that impede judicial review, the majority decision states. Quote, to begin, the policy may not prove feasible to implement in any manner whatsoever, let alone in any manner substantially likely to harm any of the plaintiffs here. The court's liberal justices dissented in an opinion signed by Justice Stephen Breyer, which argues that enough evidence has been presented to warrant ruling in the case and to rule in favor of the state's challenge. Quote, the plain meaning of the government statutes, decades of historical practice, and uniform interpretations from all three branches of government demonstrate that aliens without lawful status cannot be excluded from the decennial census solely on account of that status. Brad wrote, in my opinion, if that's true, which it probably is, I disagree with that. Right? Like, obviously, why should you get a say in terms of what happens in our government? You're not a citizen and you're here illegally. Again, we're rewarding people who are not citizens of this country, right? If California gets one electoral vote more than they should due to illegals, that's criminal, in my opinion, right? That's a slap in the face of democracy. In my opinion, this incentivizes some states, mainly the liberal ones, some argue they're already doing it, to just let illegal immigrants in here and crowd up these cities and populate their states just so they can have more say in terms of what happens with the federal government. Again, how is that fair to everybody else across the country? It's just not at all. So I'm completely against this. Like I said, even if it's historical precedent, I don't care. You should only have a say in terms of what happens in this government, in our country, if you are here legally. We need to stop incentivizing people to come here illegally. Quote, the government's efforts to remove them from the appointment base is unlawful, and I believe this court should say so. The administration has said that it has, quote, virtually unfettered discretion in deciding what census data to use. Three lower courts, however, have agreed with arguments from the states and immigrants' rights advocates that Trump's memo violates the Constitution and census statutes. Friday's move wipes away the September ruling of the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of New York, which is one of the 23 parties to the suit. By dismissing the suit rather than ruling on its merits, the Supreme Court left open the possibility that the immigrant rights advocates could sue again. Dale Ho, director of the American Civil Liberties Union Voting Rights Project, promised that will indeed happen. Quote, if the administration actually tries to implement this policy, we'll sue again. Ho tweeted Friday, and we'll win, he said. All right. So this is a potential W for President Trump because obviously with them dismissing it, it gives the president administration the go ahead to finish figuring out how they're going to actually count the census, how they're going to exclude illegal aliens from the count, and to go from there in terms of implementing this. Now, it seems like these liberal states are probably going to try to challenge it again if it comes to that, which I'm pretty sure President Trump will move forward with it. But it is a conversation that we need to have. So I think it's a W. We need to talk about why is it that illegal aliens are having representation in our government. They are not citizens. They're not citizens. They're not here legally. Some of them aren't paying tax. And again, people might say, oh, you're a bigot. You're a racist. No, it has nothing to do with race. Whether you're Hispanic, Asian, I don't care who you are. What country is allowing people that are there illegally to have a say in their government? To me, it's really ridiculous. And I understand the historical precedent for it. I get it. But this is not then. This is now. This is 2020. We need to update some things. We need people that are living here legally to not be unrepresented and not be disenfranchised by people that are not. It is what it is. People might say it's harsh. People might disagree with it. I don't care. Again, this is about putting Americans first, citizens first. And this is why President Trump is so popular, because he puts American citizens first. And this is just another example of him trying to do that. So let me know what you guys think. Should illegal aliens be counted in the census and given representation in the electoral votes and House seats? Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.